So I'm installing the Oracle Database 11G Express Edition. I ran the setup program, and so far it's preparing to do the install. Okay, so I'm just going to go through the wizard. I'll click Next. I'm going to accept the terms. Click Next. Just select Oracle 11G. I'm going to let it install right to my C Oracle XE folder. You can certainly change the folder if you like, or change it to a different drive letter if you've got multiple drives. I'm just going to keep mine in the default. I'm going to click on Next. I'm going to enter a password. It's just going to be my. I'm going to use my Drexel password. That way I don't forget what it is. So just the same password I used to log into to Drexel 1 and Blackboard and all that. I'm going to click Install, and this will go for a little while doing the setup. It takes a little bit of time. So I'm almost there. It's pretty close. It's creating the services in Windows. Just like any other server application, it installs a couple services, which I'll show you in just a few minutes. Alright, almost done. It's creating our initial database. And just so you're aware, this stage of the install might take a while. It might sit at this screen for, on some computers, a good 30 minutes, but eventually it should finish. Alright, and after being patient, it finally finishes. I'm going to hit the Finish button. And the install dialog goes away. If this worked, I'm going to go into Services by going to services.msc. You can also do this through the control panel, or right-clicking my computer and going to Manage and then Services. But either way, once you do that, of course my computer's taking a second here. So in this list of services, we should now see Oracle listed in here, the Oracle services, and here they are. So you got the Oracle service, and there's a couple other things in here, but as long as Oracle Service XE and the Oracle XE TNS listener is running, we should be able to log into our database and start using it. So I'm going to click on the Start menu. There's going to be a new program group in here for Oracle. So there's Oracle. And I'm going to click on Get Started. It's going to bring up a web page. And notice the address. It's 127.0.0.1, port 8080. So it has its own little integrated web server / Apex. And once this comes up, we should be able to get started with Application Express. So what I'm going to do is where it says Application Express, I'm going to hit the little link over here. So at this point, you get the login prompt for Application Express. Use System, or it should work. You should be able to use System for the username, and the password is going to be the password that you set up during the install. So I'm going to put the same password that I plugged in during the install process. Click on Login, and here we go. So now I'm logged in, and I can create a workspace. So I'm going to create a new workspace. The database username, I'm just going to use my Drexel ID. You can certainly do whatever you like, but I just, just to keep it consistent, you can use your Drexel ID. So my Application Express username is going to be BCG28. That's my Drexel ID. I'm going to use the same password that I use for my Drexel account, just so I don't forget it. I'm going to click on Create Workspace. And again, this is all happening on your machine, on your computer where you installed Oracle. Alright, and that's it. So once you do that, you get this little dialog that says Successfully Created. Click here to log in, so I'm going to click here. Now this page that comes up, after you do the click here to log in, you want to bookmark this page, so you've got, you know where you can go to get to this. So definitely bookmark it so you can keep it, so I'm going to come over here and go to Bookmarks. I'm going to do bookmark this page, and I'm going to, there you go, Application Express login. Done. That way if I want to get back to this right away without going through all that other stuff, I can get right into it. So now I can log in. And this is a little different than so this is a little bit different than when you use SQL Plus on the virtual environment. It's obviously it's a web page for one thing, but from here you can view the tables, you can create new tables and things like that. If you just want to run a SQL command, you can click this little SQL command box. So there should be, so we can either do query builder or object browse, but I just want to do SQL commands, so I'm going to click on SQL commands. And then in here I can just type in a SQL command and it'll run the SQL command. So I could do a select, I could do updates, any DML code that you used in the previous semester, or in this case we might want to run the code to create our database. If you're more comfortable with SQL Plus, instead of using this web page, if you click your little start menu, you should see a new program called Run SQL Command Line. That's SQL Plus. Or you can get, if you don't see that, depending on the version of Windows you're on, you can click in Oracle 10G, just hit the Run SQL Command Line. This will come up. You type con or connect space and then your username, so mine is BCG28, and then / and your password. I'm going to pause this so you don't see my password in plain text. And I'm now connected to my SQL command line, just like on the virtual, but now it's on my own machine instead of being in the virtual. Nice thing about this though is like any other command prompt, you can copy and paste right from this right into Blackboard for your assignments, and you can set this up to log all the output if you want to. So there's definitely some advantages to doing it this way. But once you get into this, at this point, you're going to need your database, the Justly database, for the assignments. So you could just paste the code directly in this window, or you can run the code over here in the browser. And if you happen to have downloaded the Justly database stuff, so the student data files in the instructions on their course information, you can download that, extract it, and then you just right-click and open the DB build script. There'll be a bunch of scripts in there. There's one for each chapter. Just pick whichever one you need to run and paste it into this window, and you'll click the Run button up here. And like I said, if you're more comfortable doing it this way, you can also come into the command prompt and I can just paste it directly into the command prompt. So now at this point, if I do select star from customer, whoops, I probably got it spelled wrong, or actually I forgot the S, so I'll hit the up arrow key, customers, there we go. So I got my list of customers. And again, you could do this also from the web page. So here I've just typed in select star from customers, hit the run, and you can see it gives me a nice formatted table down here. And I kind of like this because you can copy and paste the code from here, and you can copy and paste this this output into something, where you can download the results. And it's a little easier to see it with the formatting on here than on the than in SQL Plus. And the interesting, kind of the neat thing about this too is with the object browser, you could go in here, I can find that customers table and just click on it, and it shows me the schema, and I can actually edit the schema and do different things. And again, in this course, we don't really use a tool to do this. We do it all at the command prompt. But in industry, of course, it's sometimes you'll discover it's easier to do this stuff with some kind of a tool. But you could do things in here, or you can just view the data. So you could just look at the, you can output the information from the table. So, for example, I click on Query Builder, click on Customers, and then Run, and look at the results. So, you have to select some fields. There we go. There we go. So, just another example of how you can work with the data. But again, for this course, you're going to be running all the commands, all the SQL commands. So, I'd prefer if you just used this window here, and then you can get the output in here. Or again, if you're comfortable with the SQL Plus tool, by all means, please use that. It's good to get used to it. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.